Jenny McCarthy Show.
Welcome back to the Jenny McCarthy Show. I'm Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg. I'm so delighted and honored and just blown away and inspired is the great word by a woman that's sitting next to me, across from me, Patty Jenkins. She directed I Am the Night miniseries, TNT, Monday, January 28th. This is inspired by true events. You guys have to watch it. This is such a fascinating, I'm going to come up with way more adjectives than that, but it's, Patty, welcome to my show, first of all.
Thank you.
How would you describe this miniseries?
So the miniseries is hopefully like tonally a great slow burn of an incredible true story, and I'm super into how we got to do it stylistically and everything, but the story itself is the star because this is the craziest story I had ever heard in my life.
And you actually went to the person's house to sit down and hear the story.
Yeah, I did it. So I was introduced to her not knowing anything, not knowing it would be such a great story. Went out to coffee with her. She starts to tell me her story, and you're like, you know, people tell you one story all the time.
Yeah.
When the first card dropped, I you know, put my cup down and didn't pick it back up again for the rest of the time. And then it just went on, and you can't believe how this woman, who was born a poor mixed race, you know, girl in Reno, Nevada, ended up being at the very center of like some of the biggest crime secret in all of Los Angeles and all of these bizarre secrets. It was mind blowing. But also she was this incredible light,
That's what you
wonderful,
said. Bubbly, like
really found such a beautiful center in herself. And that became the story. That was sort of like, that's the story.
That is the story.
Right? It's the story of this incredible tale, but it's also of somebody finding this strength and power inside of the worst possible things you could find out about yourself.
And she goes to, the story is she has a journalist investigate with her.
Yeah, so there were, Chris Pine's character was made of an amalgam of people in the world who were affected by this story, and it ruined people's careers. And, you know, trying to tell, nobody could tell this story. You couldn't come close to it. So he plays a fictional character who represents that and those people, and ends up coming into contact with her as she tries to figure out what's going on. The truth was, she came in contact with a ton of people.
She did, but she did have people come and help her along the way.
Yeah, she definitely, and she was also interestingly able to get in and observe things inside all of the different worlds, because she was so amorphous in what she looked like. She kind of fit into all of these different places. So yeah, she was interesting.
How do you, when you hear someone's story like that, do you go, all right, is that really true? I mean, of course you fact check everything, but
yeah,
when you're sitting down, I mean, I could tell you a fascinating story that you'd be mind blown, but
yeah.
How did you know?
This was actually, that was never the issue, and I think it's because it's so well documented that as soon as I started to look into it, there were many books and many people who had tried to crack this case and tell this story. And so that wasn't the issue. Just if she was literally related to these people, the people's story was well covered. And so how she was related to them and how that story worked was easy to prove.
Why are we so in love with these crime? What happened? Like, these crime podcasts have exploded.
Yeah.
But these docuseries, what is it about?
You know what is amazing? So I have always been that way since junior high. Reading every true crime story, reading every, cataloging it. And it was something that I always had to explain, because people were like, geez, why do you know all of these stories? I have no idea. Why I'm so curious. I'm not a dark person.
No, but sometimes I think it might be a fear mechanism where we're
I agree. That's it.
We need to know.
Jenny, I couldn't agree with you more. That's been my observation for so long. I'm like, that's where it was coming from in me. I was like, so people do what? Okay, let me get to the bottom of this.
That's right.
Okay, so who does it and how and when? And I still feel that way every time I'm teaching my son recently. We pull into a parking lot and like we're sitting in the back of my car pulling on skates, and a guy pulls up right next to us, and I was like, oh no, no, never. You get back in the car right now.
Right. And it's true.
Too much true crime.
I think we take it like a buffet. We take a little bit from here, a little from that, and we become more cautious and aware of our surroundings.
Yeah, totally.
Instead of just walking around going la 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 la.
Yeah.
So, what else about this movie? I mean, docuseries. Can you tell us that we're going to make people want to just dive in and watch it? Can we binge watch it is my first question.
Yes, you can. Well, you will. It will not all be available at once. It's going to air every week, but only for 6 weeks, so it won't take too long. It's been great that people who have started watching it binge watched it and admitted that, and that's like, that makes me so happy when they're like, I sat down to watch one, but then I couldn't stop and I watched all of them. I was so excited.
Well,
about
my producer
that.
did, and I was like, Dickface, you didn't give me the fucking code.
Yeah.
So last night I'm like,
no.
I'm dying to watch it. So I
Yeah.
had to like pick up any little pieces I saw anywhere on the internet, and I'm like, I'm dying to watch
No,
this
so
whole
that's
thing.
exciting. I'm happy to talk to you, and then you'll get to watch it later.
I'm so excited.
Good.
And why a film, why docuseries, not a film?
So the first time around that I went out and pitched this series, that was actually the wall I hit up against, because it was 2008 and everybody was trying to either make it a feature or a show. And I was saying it's just not either of those, but like it wasn't in vogue to do limited series again. And so, it's just too nuanced of a story. Like, her identity is extremely nuanced. Everything about the world and the time period of the 60s and how that had, interplay with it was really incredible. It just would have been something major would have been lost. And I've seen a lot of Black Dahlia movies. It's like if you made that the forefront, which you would have to do in a feature, it's like, it's not enough. It's her story that was the interesting one.
Right, you're right. I want to talk a little bit before we run out of time about your amazing career. You filmed Monster, Wonder Woman, and I'm sure so many women and girls and maybe guys have come up to you and said, Wonder Woman was their everything. I mean, Wonder Woman was my everything.
Oh,
I talk about
you.
for 25 years, I literally would wear aluminum foil on my wrists and daydreamed about, like, when I first moved to LA, I'm like, I'm going to find the people that are going to make Wonder Woman. I'm going to show up in an outfit and beg for the role. And then I hit 30 and then I hit 40 and I'm like, fuck, I missed the window. Like, it was my only dream. But then I was like, you know what? Obviously, it's okay. But I was so excited for the movie to come out, and I prayed it was done right because she was my hero. Yeah. She was my hero. You know what it taught me? I can wear a fucking push-up bra and look and be a badass. I'm
with you.
You know what I mean? I don't have to fucking look like a rag, piece of shit just to conquer the world.
Yeah. She was I'm with you. I was that girl too. And so I told people right after I made Monster, my first meeting at Warner Brothers, when you have these generals, I said, wait, you have one? I want to do Wonder Woman. That's what I want to do. I had been, interestingly, making female superhero shorts before Monster. And then the opportunity came Monster, and I was like, oh, I love true crime. Let me do that. But it was very close to my identity, was wanting to make this superhero films. And so, but the greatest news about my confidence in doing it, in ultimately doing Wonder Woman, was that I cared like you care. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know that I'm the best director in the world, or that I'm any of those, things. You never want to go in believing any of that. But I know that I love Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman who has always existed. What's interesting to me now is when people say, how did you change it to make it for you? Inherently, it's going to be changed by the fact that a person made it. But I wasn't trying to change it. I was trying to honor the legacy of Wonder Woman.
That's what I felt.
Good. I'm so glad.
Absolutely. And, I was worried about who she was. Was I going to like her? Yeah. I fell in love.
Good. That makes me so
nailed
happy.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And the way you directed it was so incredible. I've seen it 7 times. My husband's like, enough with the Wonder Woman, Jenny. I'm like,
so awesome.
You don't understand. So I'm really proud of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
For making, I know all these little boys had their Superman dreams come true and all their other male superheroes, but you absolutely represented Wonder Woman the way I wanted to. And I talked to Linda Carter, of course.
Yeah, she's the best.
And she was very, very happy about it, too. What's it like, Ben, being a female in Hollywood, hearing all the Me Too movement stuff? Did you have any instances where maybe not necessarily the sexual part, but the power position part, where you just felt...
You know what's interesting for me, and I'm sure you probably feel the same, or who knows? Everybody had variations of worse. What was interesting for me was it was so everyday to a certain extent that you almost didn't even flag it anymore. There was so much of the power thing, for sure. Nothing extraordinary happened to me, but definitely, there were power moves and power plays, and you were aware of different things. I wasn't ever aware of anything egregious, or I probably, I would have had to do something or say something. But yeah, it's been interesting to see and hear behind the covers of all of these different people's stories. And some of the women who I've ended up finding out their story broke my heart.
Right.
Broke my heart when I saw them, and I thought, you've been suffering with that all this time? You know, Gwyneth Paltrow, I almost started crying when I heard her story, that everybody was saying all of these things about her and assumed it all these years. I hadn't heard it, but what would that be like, walking around with everybody saying that you had slept with him for your career and you didn't?
Right, and how it affects your career.
Horrible. Horrible.
And the other girls that have lost their careers because of it.
Yeah.
Thank God, like I kept saying, I talked about it so much on the show. I'm like, the news was calling it the Me Too moment. And I was like, they better change that to movement real soon, because this is not going away. Yeah, definitely. I know. I am so excited that it feels like in the last 3 years, a bunch of stuff has actually started to change all over the place. And I never realized it wasn't until suddenly you say, wow, stuff's really changing. A lot of stuff is radically changing right now. What have you noticed, so people can know? Because I know that
I just feel like diversity of all kinds is suddenly being talked about and not dropped. You know, whereas it was always a conversation, but nothing was ever really changing. We actually see action and success and money following. Like, yes, okay, cool. Other people are getting their voices heard and their stories told. It's a trip.
Frances McDonald, I think that's her name, right?
Yeah.
That got up on stage and said, what was the quote that she said? Do you remember? She said, "Go and ask for your rider to have
diversity rider."
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I think that made a difference.
Yeah, I think that and also you're just seeing culpability. Things aren't being, aren't hopefully we won't just go back to the way we were before, but it's like the fact that everybody is very aware and it feels like people are changing things.
You know, the Aquaman movie that came out, they had the costumes that were different in that film compared to the other Wonder Woman. Were you like, they're a little bit skimpier or different, or
in the Aquaman?
Yeah,
the Wonder Woman. Oh, Justice League.
Yeah. I get my movies mixed up, but that one.
No comments. Because it's so complicated to do those things, and I have never, since I've had other people point it out to me, I have never gone back through and looked at, because there were training outfits, and and there were a lot of people that worked on that film, and some I have different opinions about a lot of them.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know what my actual opinion is about that until I really went through and looked with a fine-tooth comb.
Fair enough point. I say don't say anything unless you've done the homework on it.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for giving us Wonder Woman. Thank you for giving us Monster. Thank you for giving us this I Am the Night. I cannot wait to see what else you have in store, because you're killing it, girl. The miniseries is on TNT Monday, January 28th. You guys, I Am the Night. I promise you, this is a good one. We're going to be talking about it after you guys binge watch it like me. Thank you so much. Come back anytime.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. And Wonder Woman 2 is coming up too, right?
It sure is.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!